Greetings, my excellent friends. The Dead Monk welcomes you to Purgatory. And all I can say about this one is, Study, sexualization of women in games doesn't impact a woman's body image. There are a lot of people who are going to disagree with that. Now, this is from just 2 days ago on Kotaku, but I am surprised I haven't heard a bunch of outrage about this yet. Maybe I just haven't been looking. So, I skimmed over this real quick, and basically they had some women play, they had two groups of women play two different Tomb Raider games. One where Lara looks like this, and another one where she's wearing skimpier clothes. So let's see. Long argued as a theory that embodying a lithe and thin Lara Croft in Tomb Raider might make women gamers feel worse about their own bodies, which, men want to look at women, women want to look at women, or both sexes like good-looking women. In general, not everyone. It's an argument that women like me have used to justify the importance of adding more realistically proportioned, less sexualized characters to our favorite games. Now, when you... Lara here, yeah, she looks fine. She looks realistic. Let's see. Yet according to a new study by researchers at Stetson University and Farley Dickinson University, playing sexualized female characters in games may not have as great an impact on women's body satisfaction as conventional wisdom holds. Alright, so a quote from the study's co-author says, arguing that, at the very least, there ought to be more diverse games and ones that present stronger and less sexualized female characters makes sense, which there are plenty. Yeah, if every single game, every single woman looked the same, yeah, that'd be boring. They don't all need to have big bouncing bosoms. No. They don't all need to have hourglass figures that are such a narrow waist to be impossible. No, of course not. Yeah, there should be variety. But whenever an advocacy platform develops not just saying we ought to do something about this because it's the right thing to do, but we drift into claims of casual harm that don't exist, it undermines the advocacy. Yeah, that's advocacy in general. You can't just make up stuff. Just say, oh, this is a problem, to try to get it to change. No, have a better reason. Whatever. Let's read this. For the last few years, Ferguson has been deeply involved in a debate about whether violent video games spur violence in players. That's been debunked for decades. Every time there's any sort of research into it, they can never conclude that, oh, yeah, violent video games make you violent. It's just not true. His research at Stetson University rejects that idea. Well, that's good, at least. As a video game violence researcher and someone who has done scholarship on mass homicides, let me state very emphatically, there's no good evidence that video games or other media contributes, even in a small way, to mass homicides or any other violence among youth. Yeah, sounds right. What about this study? Okay, here we go. The study published by the American Psychological Association asked about 100 women to play one of two Tomb Raider games. In one, Tomb Raider Underworld, subjects played a part of the game where Croft is outfitted in bikini bottoms and a form-fitting long-sleeved wetsuit top. And that was portrayed in a way to emphasize Lara's waist, hips, and breasts. So this was the sexualized gameplay, since, as the study explained, one of the indicators of sexualization is clothing that is not appropriate for the task to be completed. Oh no, was she swimming? The other subjects played the 2013 game Tomb Raider, where Croft is wearing cargo pants and a tank top. Alright, so yeah, the one above. Yeah, she's in the jungle, she needs some pants. Participants then filled out a well-known study for self-objectification, or emphasizing physical appearance. In self-evaluations, the study's results indicated that playing a sexualized segment of Tomb Raider Underworld did not make players feel body shame or impact their body satisfaction, or at least not as much as other types of objectification like catcalling. Alright, well that's the whole study. I don't think that's much of a study. I don't think you really can conclude anything from that. Participants identified the sexualized video game protagonist as fictional and thus not a realistic source of messaging about women's bodies. Yes, exactly. It's not a real person. It's Lara Croft. asked Ferguson whether the phenomenon of the recent Wonder Woman movie may have had a positive impact on women's self-worth, considering his skepticism of the media's effects on consumers. Well, that has nothing to do with video games, so I think that's about it for the study. So, as I said, I don't think you can conclude much from that. You got 100 women and you have them play, I didn't even say how long, but you have them play a little bit of a couple Tomb Raider games, and you ask them some questions. It's not a whole lot, and they're playing Tomb Raider. There are games that sexualize women far more than the older Tomb Raider games do. Hey, but, as I said, I'm surprised I haven't heard any outrage about this. Sexualization of women in games doesn't impact women's body image. Where's the outrage? Because as I said, I know a lot of people would dispute that claim. But this is good to know. This is good to know. Sexualizing women in games is absolutely fine according to this survey, right? That's what it's saying? Well, that's good to know because Dead or Alive 6, well, it has a new season pass coming back that brings back bikinis. And of course some very tight little trunks for men too. But yeah, season pass brings back bikinis. Alright, and that's okay. That's okay. The study said sexualization of women in video games is perfectly fine. Because there's also something else for Dead or Alive 6. Now this one's a mod, but yeah, there you go. Here's a mod you can play. It even has jiggle physics built in. I mean, I wouldn't think the mod would need to do that. Doesn't Dead or Alive already have jiggle physics? So yeah, no, this is perfectly fine, right? That's what the article says. Alright, well good to know. Maybe I'll go out and buy Dead or Alive 6 now. Alright, so we'll see if that study ever does get some outrage, or maybe just some other, just more coverage. But if not, well, just go out there and be excellent to each other. Farewell.